Hey guys, Cap1 here. I'm gonna be doing a bit of a different video today. Longtime viewers of the channel, I'm talking going years back, will be really happy about this video because I'm gonna be doing a replay analysis, not of one game, but two games, and not of the whole game, but just of specifically the early game laning phase in two games that I thought were in different matchups, both melee matchups, but the showcase of laning mechanics I think is really going to be useful to players who are looking to really get this last end of the season grind. I get questions all the time from people who ask me, hey Cap, like how do I specifically lane on Singe? Like what exactly is it that I'm looking to do? I'm in this hard matchup versus like a Volibear or versus a Renekton or like a Riven, like, and I'm not sure what happens. Like I just keep getting clapped over and over. I feel so squishy. I feel so weak. I don't know exactly what to do, how to do it. Like, well, what do I do, Minish? Like I'm stuck. Um, and so this video is specifically for people that are having those kinds of questions about specifically their laning phase and how to improve it, what to look for, how to gain an advantage. The first game I'm going to go over is just specifically how to lane and then look for a teleport in a matchup where you're probably not going to be able to get a good solo kill. And the second matchup is going to showcase how you play with your jungler in order to gain a lead across the map, even if you give up a little bit of pressure in your lane. Both strategies are very good for Singed. Because he tends to be a champion that has a bit of a harder time getting solo kills the higher in rating that you go. So this guide will be very, very useful for players that are looking to really push their end of the season rank here. So the first game we're going to be looking at is this game right here. I went 2, 3, and 7. Or no, sorry. It was this one right here. I went 4, 0, and 1 versus a Volibear top lane. And this one is just going to showcase a really good teleport and what to look for when you want to teleport. And the second game I'm going to look over is right here. It's 2, 3, and 13 versus Irelia, and this is the one where I played super well with my jungler and made a lot of space on the map for my jungler to really just pop off and hard carry the game. So we're going to go ahead and go into my client and open up the replay. The one versus Volibear is right here, so let's go ahead and get right into it. I played both of these games today. I've been playing mostly my Challenger games off stream because it's off stream and off video because it's very Challenger solo queue is very toxic and very tilting, so it's not very fun to stream, and the queue times are horrendously long. So first things first, I'll go over my rune choices for this game. My team pinged for an invade, so I'm gonna go ahead and walk with my team. Blitzcrank is the one that pinged it, I believe. Actually, it was Ashe, but I'm assuming they're duo queue, so we're gonna go ahead and walk with him. My starting items for this were Dark Seal and Refill. The reason why is because of my rune choices. So I went Unsealed Spellbook, Perfect Timing, Futures Market, Time Warp Tonic, Nimbus Cloak, Celerity. This is after the Nimbus Cloak nerfs. I've been playing it more. I still like it. Then I went 9 AP and then 2 armor shards. Now, the 2 armor shards is really, I think, or sorry, the double defensive shards is what really sets this rune page apart. What we're doing here is just looking for the sweeper to get that ward. Whoever gets the last on the ward, we all share EXP. Helps you hit 2 on the first wave. So the reason why I think that this actually sets the page apart quite a bit is because the double defensive will keep you a lot safer in the early game versus a lane bully matchup like Volibear. And then you go Dark Seal because you only have 1 AP shard, and then using that Dark Seal with Time Warp Tonic to help push the early game and sort of secure lane dominance that way. So this is going to be a very typical jungle start that you see in solo queue. As you can see, both top laners are leashing for their jungle. And what you want to do here is you don't want to tank more than 1 auto attack when you leash. Only ever tank 1 auto if you can avoid it. If you can tank 0 autos, it's even better. Don't try and re-poison the buff whenever you are leashing it. Just give it a bunch of auto attacks and then walk through your lane. You can see Volibear is doing the exact same thing. He actually used a bit more mana than I did, so not the biggest deal in the world, but something to consider. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're entering the lane. What you want to look for when you enter the lane is whether or not the enemy top laner is going to posture. And what I mean by posture is is the enemy top laner going to stand over here and try and harass you when you go for last hits? Or are they going to play a bit more defensively? In this case, Volibear is a little bit aggro, so I have to go ahead and kite away from him. And what you want to do is you don't really ever want to play too aggro where you absorb between autos. What you want to do is what I'm doing right here, walk up to the wave and then back off, and you want to try and get Volibear to walk into your poison like that. See, he just took poison damage right there. Then you do that enough times and they start to get a little bit discouraged about chasing you into the creep wave. Level 2 early because of the ward kill, give him a fling, get a good trade going. Then all I'm looking to do right now with that Dark Seal and the extra AP and the double armor is just push, 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 push. The reason why I'm pushing is because with the lane priority that I have from pushing the first few creeps faster, I can stop a lot of the harassment that Volibear is going to give me when he hits level 2 and gets that the QW combo by just pushing the wave and making him deal with the creep wave. So now I'm going to go ahead and keep doing the same thing. Watching out for Volibear's passive as Thunderclaws is stacked up. He has a Grasp of the Undying proc. So as soon as, let me actually illustrate this very specifically. So wave is under tower, wave is dying. Okay. As soon as I walk up to the wave to kite it back, watch how I move here. I'm moving parallel to him and trying to cut him off from walking into the creep wave without taking poison damage. And that's very important because every little bit of damage that you can deal in a laning phase matters a lot, especially in the early game. So even though, you know, I took a lot of damage there, I'm still like doing some damage to him, and it discourages him from trading further into me. Right here I leveled up again, go ahead and fling. Right here I use Time Warp Tonic and kite him out. Because I'm out of mana, this is where I decide to recall. Never ever stay in lane as Singed if you're If you need to just go ahead and back, and just go ahead and back. It's more important to have your mana. Now right here, this is very important. As soon as I back, I'm watching bot lane. Like, what's going on bot lane? My jungle ganks, gets counter ganked, they get a kill. And then they start chasing in my bot lane right here. And I'm watching this right now. As soon as the Echo jumps, I start to teleport. Because in the Echo, he either has two places to go, right? He can either flash over this wall, which he tried to do, and he can try and go for the Kha'Zix kill, or he can flash over the wall and run up. He can also flash back over here, but then I cut him off. So technically he only has two places to go. That could be like a really good play for him. He tries to flash on the Kha'Zix, doesn't get the kill. They kill him. Now I'm going to chase the Jhin down. Then we just chase, and he ends up going down to poison, I believe. Oh, it was the flash fling. Okay, yeah, nice flash fling. Then, after that, the Zed's very out of position here as well. He's not strong enough to kill me. He has, what does he have? He has a long sword. He can't kill me. So we ended up doing a lot of damage to him as well. Then we start backing out. They're collapsing on me right here. But Time Warp Tonic with a movement speed, and I get out. I know it doesn't seem like it from just looking at the sword right now, but that play that I just made basically won the game. This game is over because now my bot lane has a lead, my jungle has a lead, and I have a kill. Even though I don't technically have a lead, I'm still ahead of him in gold because of that kill. And even though he's gonna get a huge CS advantage, I put a bunch of pressure down on the map and got two of my teammates stupidly far ahead. And Blitzcrank has 2 assists, so even he's far ahead. Now the reason why that worked out so well is because I was doing a slow push into his tower. Back here, push, 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 again, like I said before. And now he has to deal with this full creep wave and the next creep wave as well, because he's underneath this tower. Whereas I can just go ahead and recall, and if I was to run back to lane, by the time that I'm done, you know, coming back to lane, it would just be here, assuming I didn't teleport. But because I pushed it in, and he has to kill the cannon wave, or the cannon and a half wave, and this full wave, I have a lot of time to go roam. And this is what this is what priority means. So you always hear players talk about priority. I don't have priority. What do I do with my priority? Priority basically means that you're able to push your lane without getting chunked out by the enemy laner, and rotate across the map in a way that helps your jungler. So usually in the context of priority, people talk about priority for Scuttle Crab for top lane. So what that means is, are you able to aggressively play your lane and then prevent the enemy top laner from cutting you off from going to crab? So say that this fight down here never happened, and instead, you know, both junglers started bottom side and rotated towards top. because I was playing aggro on the Volibear and had him underneath this tower, if the junglers decided to fight for Scuttle, well, we have top lane priority. He has to deal with 2 creep waves under his tower, and I can go help my jungler. If he decides to leave the 2 creep waves and the cannon and try and help, and he ends up dying, game's over for him. He's out of the game completely, because there's no way he's going to recover from losing that many minions and dying and losing the crab. So his only choice really that makes the most sense is to stay under tower and farm. Well, if he stays under tower and farms, then he can't help his jungler with the crab, and I can go help him. That means I have priority. Same thing with mid. If you're mid, it can play aggro and push the enemy laner in and rotate for crab, they have priority. So that's basically it for the first replay. I'm gonna go ahead and load up the second replay. Give me 1 second, guys. But yeah, that's a good example of looking for that early game teleport that's gonna help you win basically the entire map, because I skyrocketed my whole team ahead off that play. So here's the second game. This is a much more difficult matchup, I would say, for Singed right now, because Volibear is a bit nerfed on live compared to the Worlds patch, where he's an absolute monster. This is versus an Irelia. So with Irelia, you have to be a lot more careful in the early laning phase. She has a lot of kill pressure on you. This is a matchup where, if possible, you want to try and coordinate with your jungler. Just for reference, I had 7.2 CS per minute in both of these games, which is quite high. That's actually really good. Average for Challenger, I think, is like 6.8 CS per minute. I averaged 6.9 CS per minute. Getting anything 7 or above in Challenger games is actually really, really good. So even though I was behind this game, the Irelia, in terms of like just raw champion power, my game impact was so high this game that I was able to get and maintain a good CS. So runes this game, starting items, I took once again Dark Seal Refill. My runes were Unsealed Spellbook, Hex Flash, Futures Market, Time Warp Tonic, Nimbus, and Celerity. Again, AP and double armor. So the reason why I took Hex Flash here is because on red side, if you're playing Spellbook, you can actually Hex Flash over this wall to help you proxy in case your flash is down. It's a little bit less useful when you're going blue side into red, because you can only realistically Hex Flash over this wall or this wall to like walk over here and proxy, or you can Hex Flash over this wall and go double proxy, but it's just less useful. The best use for Hex Flash playing from blue into red is to Hex Flash over the Raptor wall and gank mid. But if you're playing red into blue, Hex Flashing over this wall is extremely useful to help you get into the proxy faster. Also helps you be very slippery. You can also Hex Flash over this wall both ways to help with jungle fights. Hex Flashing over Dragon Wall, Hex Flashing over this wall is very useful because you're pairing with Nimbus Cloak. Like, you know how Set always goes Hex Flash Nimbus Cloak? Same concept with Singed. So you can Hex Flash over walls, get a fast fling, get a good W, etc, etc. So what we're doing right now, I'm not looking for the level 1 because I don't know where the jungler is. No one has showed on the map yet. All that means is that if I were to walk down here and try and look for level 1 proxy, I get collapsed on by these two. So sometimes it is better, if you don't know where the enemy team is, to not do level 1. And honestly, versus a melee champion, you don't have to do level 1 proxy. I'd recommend, if you can get away with it, to level 1 versus a ranged champion if you know where they are at level 1 and you can avoid them. But if you can't avoid them, don't worry about it. So right here, again, same thing with the leash. I'm going to tank 1 auto, I believe, here. Yeah, 1 auto. Then you just give him a bunch of auto attacks. Don't try and repoison it. It'll take too much damage. Your DPS early game, your DPS early game from your auto attacks is better than your poison anyways. Poison is more of an AoE wave clear tool. That's low damage, but you're going to hit 6 minions at a time, as opposed to your auto, which is going to be more DPS on single target. So same concept with Volibear. She's playing a bit more aggro, so immediately I'm going to go ahead and kite backwards. She has a bit of lane priority here because she got to the wave first. What I'm doing is the same thing as I'm doing before. I'm trying to get her to walk into my poison. I see, right, let me show you exactly where she messed up here and gave me lane control. So it's very subtle, but she gives me lane control here. And it happens right when she walks. Let me show you guys if I can pinpoint it. The moment she gives me control of this lane is right when she positions herself opposite of me. Right there, you see? When she walks in the bush and I can walk down, this is when I have lane control. Because now I can be past her minion wave, poisoning everything, while she's stuck up here. If she wants to come approach me now, she either has to Q onto the minion and then Q onto me, or she has to just come up and auto attack me. But either way, she gets kited by me because she's only level 1. And 2, I have passive, I can run away. And 3, she walks into poison. So now I have control of the lane because I can just walk behind these minions right here and watch this. I can just start pushing. And because I'm singed, I can push an entire creep wave a lot faster than she can. And even though, you know, she's higher single target damage, because I'm singed, I'm just like getting a little bit of the XP advantage. This was a good play by her. I did hit level 2 first, but because my creep is bigger, she has a hard time trading against me, even though she's like, you know, Irelia. Right here, this was actually, I think, a little bit of a mistake by both of us. So after she goes level 2 here, she goes aggro on me. And I realized as soon as she hits the E here, she probably goes to aggro because that's what Irelia always looked to do. But I'm ready for it because I have Time Warp Tonic, I have Flash Up. Right here, I think we just trade flashes. Because I have Time Warp right here, I get a big burst of healing. See that, plus 78. She flashes assuming she can just kill me, but with Time Warp, I'm out. I'm clean. And now we're behind the lane. Even though I had control of the lane for that brief moment, because Irelia is the type of champion that can just go ahead and like look for that outplay. Even though I was macroing mostly appropriately, I have now been forced into a deficit. I'm forced to flash early. I have to use my teleport to get back to lane. I'm not able to buy my corrupting potion boots. I went second Darksteel here. More AP and more push. Gonna TP back in the lane here. Fling. But this is another mistake by me here because I didn't look at her stacks on her passive. She was actually 4-stack when she Q'd on me, and so I took a lot of damage there. Right here, this is a really important moment with the Rek'Sai. So Rek'Sai has recognized the fact that top lane is getting a bit bloody. He sees that both flashes are down, but a flashless Irelia in top lane is a little bit easy to gank with Singe because you put your W down, she's grounded, she can't jump away. Rek'Sai is a very sneaky jungler because Rek'Sai can come over this back wall right here. And because I can just ground the Irelia, even though she technically, if Rek'Sai wasn't here, would have probably killed me in extended fight, because Rek'Sai is here, I can ground her right there. Wait, no. Oh, I flung her into it. Nice. Then Rek'Sai comes over the wall. First blood. Now, bear in mind, I'm still actually behind the Irelia, because what's going to happen is Irelia TP's here and gets this massive creep wave. However, now this is the important part about this this replay, is illustrating how you play with your jungler. So my Rek'Sai is pinging to go over here and fight. He finds an Italy. She flashes over the wall. Right here. I'm not going to approach the Nidalee too quickly because she can chunk me out with her spear. But W, fling her back over the wall. Auto. 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 She's dead. I back off. Sadly, died to the Kiani here, I think. The shield just wears off and the thing that kills me, but the reason why that's important is because I feel like most Singed players would probably have backed immediately after they got the kill here and then pushed the creep wave, because like I'm considering, like, in the back of my mind, I wanted to recall because I'm very low mana, don't have any corrupting potion, or sorry, refill potion charges left. I barely have enough mana to go for a fling. My fling right now is 60 and then W is 60, so I would need 120 mana to make the play that I made. I'm at 100 mana walking into river, and 100 and barely even 120 mana when I start the fight here, I think. They're 60, and they're 60. So I'm on that play, but that goes to show you why, you know, proper mana management on your poisons, stuff like that is still really important. Also, I'm putting a lot of trust into my jungler, and trying to help get them ahead. You know, knowing that me leaving the lane right there to help my jungler out gives Irelia a lot of tempo. Me dying gives her even more tempo. What that means is she's in lane, she's slow pushing, she's getting a lot of XP, she's 25 CS to my 14. She's level 4, I'm level 3. She has a big advantage in this lane right now. And she's gonna actually be like 35 CS by the time I get to lane. Well, I'll be 14. So she'll be 20 CS ahead of me. She's huge compared to me right now. and that means I don't have priority in this lane anymore. Remember what we talked about with priority. If I can't push her in, I can't continue to help my jungler. So we have to, basically, I'm going to be spending the rest of this laning phase trying to find a way to get priority over the Irelia without dying to her. Notice how I'm not immediately poisoning the entire creep wave here. I'm just last hitting as much as I can. Until the cannon dies, then I go ahead and DPS the rest of it. The reason why is because you want to try and maintain the wave underneath your tower as long as possible, because that's your safest spot in the lane. I don't know that she's here right now. I think she hits me with a double stun. Yeah, she does. I missed a goofling, sadly, but we're safe. I was hoping that I put her under tower, I think, is whenever I went for that fling, but this is a mistake that I always make, and this is why it's important to watch her on replays. This is a mistake that I always make playing versus Irelia, is I always underestimate how powerful her 5-stack passive is. Now, when Irelia gets 5-stack passive, I believe she does bonus damage. It's magical? So she gets attack speed per stack, and when she hits full stacks, her attacks deal an additional bunch of magic damage. So right here, as I'm shoving in, I assume that I'm safe, which I'm actually not safe because Qiyana's roaming up. See, I don't know that though. I assume that I'm safe because she's very low on mana, but as soon as she starts walking up to me when she's low mana, I kind of knew that something was up, because normally Irelia would never walk at me like this when she's low on mana. I end up flinging her and running away. I see the Qiyana come over here, so I decided to just give up and die to the minions over here. The important thing here is I turn my poison off before I hit this creep wave, so the creep wave wouldn't get poisoned and then start pushing towards her. Now, a really 5-head player, what they would do right there, if I poison the wave, is they would just let my creep wave start killing their wave and look to permanently freeze it, like for the rest of the laning phase. But that's why I turn my poison off on purpose, so that the Irelia's minions wouldn't take damage, so she couldn't freeze on me. And this is a good example of laning from Irelia as well. Like, that little bit of a freeze and slow push got her such an advantage in the early game that she was able to like power through 2 potion charges, recall, a teleport, another potion charge. Like, really good play from her overall. So here, I bought my boots, cloth armor, corrupting potion, double dark seal, looking to just survive as best I can. I did not know that Nidalee was there right there, actually. But looking to survive as much as possible. Again, not poisoning the whole wave, just pushing it as slow as I can, trying to keep it under my tower as long as possible, trying to hit my level 6. Because if I walk into Irelia as I'm level 6 and she's level 5, I will die. I summoner spell swapped to Ghost here, because I knew that I would be in danger from the Irelia. I needed some way to keep myself safe. I don't have my flash, don't have teleport. If I have barrier, I probably still die because I'll be in range of her autos. If I take heal, I'll probably still die again because I'll be in range of her autos. Exhaust, not that amazing versus Irelia because I can't create enough distance. It's all about running away from her and creating distance between yourself and her. So for that reason, I went Ghost. And that actually ends up paying off here, I think. Oh, we're pushing. I put W down on her so she can't jump to me immediately. She goes to the ult. As soon as she goes to the ult, because I had slow pushed here, this is very important, because I had slow pushed earlier, I was able to hit my level 6 on the perfect interval to make sure that I don't get all in whenever she hits her ultimate. If I were to have stayed and just pushed this wave as fast as possible, what would have happened is, 1, I won't hit level 6 in time because these minions wouldn't be at this position for me to farm them. 2, they would have been all the way down here, so if I'm closer to her tower and she hits 6, I'm just screwed. That's why sometimes it's important to wait to push until the wave gets there in the lane. Because as soon as she hits 6, I hit 6, and I can pop my ultimate and get those defensive stats and get tanky. Up the Ghost, fling her away, just run away. Because I have Ghost running, I decided to actually go around the river, up this wall, and look for the proxy. I know that Nidalee is bottom. I saw her fighting my bot lane, so this proxy is pretty much uncontested unless Qiyana comes, but I don't... That's just a risk I'm taking. I didn't know that she was mid until just now, when she showed the minions, but now I know she's mid, so I can go ahead and keep proxying. Sometimes it's like a calculator risk, like, you play a game of deduction in your head, like, what could be the best position for the enemy jungler right now? Well, if I don't know where they are, I probably am not going to go for the proxy. If I know where they are, then I can go for the proxy unless they're topside. As far as a player or a champion like Kiana goes, looks to roam a lot, you have to be a lot more careful. Because, yeah, odds are they'll probably roam bottom, but what if they roam on you? Because if you're proxying, you're a pretty easy kill for someone like Kiana, who can just slam you against a wall, you know, ignite, QQ, you're dead. So that was a bit of a risk, but the risk paid off. Wasn't ready for it. Walk back to lane, got my tabby. Irelia is 76 CS to my 46.
Shut down.
Rek'Sai dies, I believe, so we're gonna go and push, push, push. Always try and hit your Goofling versus Irelia. It's very, very hard for Irelia to play versus a root and a stun and a ground. Sorry, a root and a ground. Because her whole kit is focused around getting mobility and using that mobility to stack up her passive, using the passive to kill you. So if she can't use her Q to jump around and stack up, then she's a lot weaker. Again, proxying here. My Rek'Sai is pinging for help, so I'm gonna go ahead and walk over the Rek'Sai. I get kind of screwed here by the Nidalee. She pops the plant and pins me in the corner there. I go for the flash. My idea here was, after I ulted, to look for the flash fling over the wall into my Rek'Sai, who is walking over. But I messed that up. End up running over to Rek'Sai anyways and getting out because the Nidalee gets really greedy and chases me. Or sorry, the Kiana did. And so we get out. I'm losing tempo again here to Irelia because I think Irelia just goes in lane farms while this is all going on. Yeah, she does. But even though I'm losing tempo to Irelia, who is over here farming, what's happening is I'm getting my jungler ahead. And Rek'Sai is currently 6-1. Due to, in no small part, my early game help on the gank over here. And the fight over here versus the Nidalee and the Irelia. So even, I think the proper term is like, I'm basically playing weak side top lane. But even then I'm not really playing weak side top lane because the jungler is here a lot. What I'm doing is just like sacrificing my lane basically. I'm accepting the fact that I'm not going to be as useful as Irelia in a 1v1 fight. Or in a side lane, and just trying to like really amp up one player on my team by helping them over and over. And with that amount of like help that I gave Rek'Sai, you know, he got 2 kills early because he's gonna start carrying the game soon. He kind of is carrying the game right now. So got Amp Tome, Ruby Crystal, back to lane. Here, the reason I'm walking back is because I want Irelia to push. I want her to think that I'm looking for a teleport, even though I'm not, and make her push. If I'm out of her vision range, she thinks I'm TPing. But knowing that, I want to make sure that she doesn't get a free teleport as well. So I'm trying to walk up a bit here. Let me show you guys how I do this. I'm trying to walk forward a bit into the lane after she pushes, so she can't just like walk over here and teleport for free. That's what a lot of top laners love to do, is they love to walk over into Fog of War and look for a teleport. So what I'm doing is just pushing ever so slightly up into the lane so I can just keep an eye on her. Then when she walks up towards me, I go ahead and back off. And I think we repeat that a few times. Yeah, so we basically just repeat that a few times. She's trying to poke me out. She's going pretty quickly. That's one of the benefits you have against the Blade of the Ruined King builds that people are doing, is they will themselves quickly without a sheen. Over here, check for the pink ward. The reason I'm warding there is because of what I said before. She's looking to try and go in the river, go in Fog of War, and look for a teleport. And if I can deny her that bit of Fog of War safety, then I can potentially deny a teleport. I swapped Flash for heal because Flash was down. Then we just repeat. So Irelia actually roams there. We start on a... Did we start on a ward? I don't think we did. But I took the risk there and went ahead and pushed because I assumed she recalled. She actually didn't recall. She walked back top and keeps farming. But because she roamed on a bad interval, I get to go ahead and back off and get mine hunting guys. Knowing when to recall is very important on Singe. Teleporting here down bot. Let me see if I can explain why exactly I TP'd. Where did I TP to? Where am I? Okay, I'm back here. Now here's what's happening again. Once again. Irelia is top. She's pushing. She's getting super strong. She's 134 CS by 92. I'm looking at this over here and thinking, I want to help my team. I'm already so far behind in the lane that me sitting in lane farming is not going to do much for my team. However, if I can flank and cut off the Pantheon, we can get at least a 1-for-1 over here. I don't think we end up getting more for it, but because I know that Irelia is strong enough to the point where I can't contest her, it's more useful for me, instead of sitting in lane farming, to just go ahead and help my team out. I'll go ahead and skip over here. I recalled. Didn't buy anything. What happens here? Let's see. Okay, so recall. Walk back to lane. She has a full blade of the Rune King now. She's gonna go Wit's End. I'm pushing, pushing, pushing. Okay, so this ward is very useful, especially on the Ocean Rift map, because it gives you full vision of this bush, which ends up going from a little bush to a big bush. Right here, Kiana flashes away. Flash fling, she's dead. Right here, I pinged for help with the Thresh, because I thought we could maybe stop her, but then, you know, Thresh walks up ready to fight, and then I decide not to, because she is, you know, full bit of the Rune King. She's a level up on me. See how I pinged him back there? She is a level up on me. She has a huge item advantage. She's just extremely strong. She is 158 CS to my 97, but we are actually still kind of in the lead. They have a gold lead, but we definitely have a tempo lead because of me. Missing Irelia. She's being very sneaky. She's doing exactly what she needs to do. She is hiding in a spot right here, which doesn't give me vision if my minions walk up, because of the way Fog of War works. See how I can't actually see her right there until I turn the corner, or I actually can't see her at all, even though she's standing right there. And that's actually very smart by her. I figured she was probably down there. A lot of players do that. What she doesn't expect, though, is for me to just walk past her entirely and ignore her and go farm over here, which is good. Because now she has to decide, do I finish the wave or do I chase Singed? Well, if she chases me, she has to hit her E to actually get onto me. And if I just keep her away from me by, you know, putting on W and kiting, then she can't actually get on top of me. She can't punish me for doing what I'm doing. Again, similar to Volibear, similar to earlier, similar to Volibear, similar to earlier, where if you can actually get behind the enemy laner sometimes, you can be in a weaker position and get ahead because you're able to farm the wave before they can even, like, touch you. Okay, right here, Volibear is walking up. Not Volibear, sorry. Thinking of last game, Rek'Sai's walking up. I'm gonna go ahead and start playing a little bit aggro. I think she knows something's up because this is the first time I played aggro against her, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and bait the recall. She walks up to the wave very greedily with farm. The W down, fling, auto kill. The Kiana walks up, I believe, and then go ahead and back out. Does she actually? Okay, so this is actually really good. This is not really important to the laning concept, but I dodged the Kiana ultimate. I think I dodged a spear as well. Dodge a spear. So dodge the gank, basically. Now at this point, even though, you know, I'm like 50 CS down, I would say overall that this lane is now pretty even. I got a lane injuries, I got a stopwatch. I go second item Zhonya's here and third item Giant's Belt. And the purpose of the Zhonya's is because I'm going to be sidelining versus either Irelia or Kiana. The purpose of Zhonya's is give me armor, give me invulnerability, give me CDR, keep me healthy, stop me from dying, basically. Then the rest of the game right here, I believe we just like play it out with some small team fights and then end up winning. Let's see if I can actually show one of those fights. Like right here, I think we killed Irelia. How'd that happen? Oh, this is where we just, I think, just chased her down. No, I flung her out of her Q here. Yeah, right there. Killed her, and then up here we had a fight, I think, where we won. Notice my Rek'Sai, by the way, my Rek'Sai is 12 and 4. Rek'Sai is hyper fed off of the amount of help that I gave her in the early game. Her. Because of that, Rek'Sai just kind of took over this game and helped carry us. You don't have to be the carry every single game. You can What's the best way to word this? You don't have to be the carry every single game, but you can carry by enabling your teammates to carry instead. And I think that's a very important distinction to make that a lot of people, like, I think a lot of people who play top lane don't really think about that. Like, they always want to be the star of the game, but you can afford to not be the star of the game every single game, because the main thing is that you win. Like, if you can get rid of that mindset, a lot of people have, where they think to themselves, oh, well, I only want to win if I win on my terms. If you can get rid of that, if you can stop yourself from trying to be the main attraction in every game and just learn to play with your team and just learn to, like, you know, be a good teammate, it can help you a lot. Like in that last game right there versus, like, if I didn't help on my Rek'Sai to the extent that I did, we lose because their Irelia was skyrocketing far ahead of me. But because I got my Rek'Sai so fed, I put my faith in my team and sacrificed my lane because Irelia was being having a much better laning phase than me. She honestly outplayed me quite hard. Besides that early push that I got, besides that, she outplayed me super hard. And if I didn't put, you know, all my eggs in the Rek'Sai basket, it was over. I hope that was actually, I haven't done a full replay review in a while like that, or some sort of analysis, but I hope I was able to illustrate at least something. I know it's a bit messy, and I have not that much practice on it anymore, and I want to do more of these in the future, depending on how well this video does. Because people always ask me, you know, how do I lane? What do I do specifically? Can you show me some, like, laning concepts? And these are very, very high level games, but I think the lessons to be learned from them are still relevant. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you liked it, I'll try and make more of these. See you in the next one. All right, bye guys.